but the boots on the ground that's going to get it built is the construction superintendent. As a contractor, I'm not swinging a hammer.
Right.
I'm not tying rebar.
Right.
I'm not gluing pipe, but they know when it's done right and when it's done wrong.
But man, when you get someone who cares about the final product, there's no like measurable for that.
If I had to pick one really good person on my team, it's going to be my super. All right, welcome everybody back for another episode of our Denali Deep Dive Podcast. Once again, Mitch and I are here in our matching black Denali shirts.
Thank goodness our wives text each other in the morning so we can twin.
Oh, all right, man. Today, I want to talk about construction superintendents. Why are they so dang important to a successful build, right? A successful project in your backyard. So we'll dive into that. I'll preface this by saying, like, this is a topic that is so important to me. My whole professional career, I have been involved with construction superintendents. That's been on, that's been big commercial jobs that were $15-20 million with 60 trades on them, and that's been in small remodels. It's been in remodels all the way into the pool world, right? Man, it is one of the most important pieces to me.
I was gonna say, I feel like I should be interviewing you on this because I feel like you have such an extensive background going back to like farm construction. You worked on a ranch. You have a degree in construction management from a stellar university. We're not going to say which one because we're on the same football team.
Whoop!
But a great construction department there. You've worked commercial construction. You've done residential construction. You've seen, I mean, you just said it, $20 million down to $4,000 and everywhere in between. I just feel like you have so much experience with good superintendents, bad superintendents, middle of the road superintendents. Why does it make a difference?
Man, to me, like a big part of what I've done of my career has been planning, pre-planning, pre-construction. I did design, build, construction in the commercial world, and this is design, build, construction too, right, on the residential side. So we, in the industry, we always look at how we're going to build this project long before the shovel's in the dirt, right? Yeah. And there is a host of people that get involved in that. You have clients. Sometimes they've built a bunch of things and sometimes they've built nothing, yep. Right? You have architects and designers. You have engineers. You've got, construction managers, project managers, which is what I did for a long, long time. You got consultants that do permitting and all that. All those guys in a room, they can get together and plan all this wonderful stuff, but the boots on the ground that's going to get it built is the construction superintendent.
That's where the rubber meets the road.
That is where the rubber meets the road. And so having a good, knowledgeable construction superintendent, man, it's almost one of the most valuable parts of a project. In this world, like we plan and design some really, really cool things, right?
Really cool.
Really cool stuff. I can just sit here in my head and think of jumping platforms that are 12 feet above the water, like a walkway, right? Or you have like a swim through cave. It's so easy to draw that stuff.
Yeah.
In software.
Yep.
And then we turn it over to the engineer, right? And the engineer's like, oh yeah, this size rebar.
Can't do that.
And this much concrete.
Gotta do this.
But how many times have you sat in a pre-construction meeting with a superintendent and he goes, that looks cool. How am I going to build that, right?
Unfortunately, more than I'd like to admit.
More than once, right?
Yeah.
It's even before the project starts, having that the mindset from that guy who's used to being in the field and seeing those nuts and bolts come together. So there's three things that I can think of, right? It's planning, one, it's execution, boots on the ground, two, and it's communication, right?
Yep.
if we don't have all that stuff from a guy who's got that set of glasses on, like you and me and the engineer and the architect, whatever, we can sit around and plan all day about how neat this is going to look. But man, that superintendent can really bring that to life and say, hey, I've experienced this. Me and the mason, we had this problem on the last job that looks something like this. And have you accounted for X, Y, or Z?
Mhm.
Let's talk about how we're gonna get it done in the field, right?
Yeah.
So there's that part of it, like, before you ever start putting shovels in the dirt, that guy comes out and brings some real valuable information to the table on how we're gonna do it.
Well, and one of the reasons that we like our superintendents to manage the warranty side as opposed to have a separate warranty department is they know those things that
Yeah,
5 years down the road, if you don't account for this, then you experience that. And so that knowledge that they bring is huge. I don't know how guys do it in other places where everything's so split up that it's like, oh yeah, I built it and it looked great day one, but who knows how the customer experienced it 7 years later. I just I'm like, "Man, what a missed opportunity to not have them have that firsthand knowledge so that every job is better and better and more complete and more prepared and fewer surprises."
yeah, and, I don't think you don't have to be this long time construction guy to be a good project superintendent. Um, I have worked with folks that have been in the industry for longer than I've been alive. Like, one of my favorite construction superintendents on the commercial side, guy from the Houston area, his name was Stan. That dude seriously has a special place in my heart, right? Like, I was young and he was helping me grow up in the industry, and we got the chance to work together for a long time. And then I think about now to some of the superintendents that we work with that have come to us from different places and different trades, and they're so successful because they are good at planning.
Mhm.
They may not have executed a construction project for 50 years like Stan, but they know the pieces and parts that it takes to get a team together and plan to execute this project. Like, as a contractor, I'm not swinging a hammer,
Right,
I'm not tying rebar,
right.
I'm not gluing pipe, and neither are our construction superintendents, right? I bet if you put them to the test, they'd be able to do that decently well because they've seen it happen over and over and over again,
Yep,
right? And that's the value. They can go from one job. They know when it's done right. Maybe they're not doing it, but they know when it's done right and when it's done wrong. That is so big in a big construction project like the ones that we do, to be able to have that superintendent that's overseeing that execution and going, "Hey guys, like, nice try on this one. Let's try again." Or to be able to look at it and be like, that that plumber right there has his stuff together. I'm gonna make sure I keep my projects full of that plumber's guys,
yeah,
right?
yep.
So knowing how to execute, knowing how to plan, knowing how to communicate too is huge. And that's another deal with some guys have been in this for a long time. I can think one of our supers, Henry, he's been doing this for a really long time. Excellent
Since he
communicator.
was a teen.
Yeah, excellent communicator. I see the communication come across from him to clients, and I go, "That right there, we get ahead of so many things because what's happening in the field is well communicated to the homeowner." And it may look like something is amiss or a mess to the homeowner, but at the end of the day, it's just another day for Henry,
Yeah,
right? Like, he knows that that looks like that because it's not finished yet. Being able to communicate that to a homeowner is huge. Being able to communicate effectively and efficiently to the trades also is huge. Like, we're a team. When something goes wrong on a project, if someone with poor communication skills that's immediately jumping down that sub's throat, like hollering and screaming and all those kind of things, it is so
it's
counterproductive.
not a fun guy to work for.
I've seen that happen though, right?
Yeah.
On projects where just not good, not efficient or effective communicators. Our
Well,
superintendents do that well.
yeah, I growing up, I was a basketball player and wanted to coach basketball and had my whole plan, and then when I got to college, I got a year in and I was like, "Man, I don't know. Like, I think that needs to be my joy in life, not my work in life. And so I switched, and when I was making a switch in majors, it was my mom who was like, "You ought to consider construction." And I was like, "I've never done construction before. Like, I cut grass. That's as close as I
Yeah.
got." And but I decided to go that route. And when I got into my program at the university I was at, I was like, every single dude in that program, it felt like except me, had done construction
Yeah.
before. And I feel like a lot of guys, that's why they got into construction management, is because they had done construction labor.
Yep.
Typically, those laborers they don't want to be the point of contact and communication, and I think that's where you get kind of across the industry. Our industry kind of has a bad rap, and I don't mean pools, I mean construction as a whole, that communication's not great. We don't hit schedules, things like that. And I think it's because of the people we attract are like, yeah, I was a framer as a kid. Like, I guess I'll study this. I'll study construction. But when you do get those guys who are great communicators, it really changes. Like, that's where you get these people that have these amazing experiences,
Yeah.
where we get customers that are like, your 5-star reviews have to be fake because I've been in construction.
That can't be real.
We had that client who was like, I've built 15 projects and I've never heard of construction superintendents that communicate this well. And then when it was all said and done, they're like, better hang on to that guy because I might steal him,
Yeah.
because that communication was phenomenal.
And we've stolen some folks, right? From completely different industries.
Yeah.
One of our guys was an educator and what you want to be, a
Yeah.
coach, right? For a long, long time. But man, if you think about the communication skills that's required, right, to do those kind of things, both with the people you're coaching and parents of high schoolers, getting in front of issues,
Administration,
all of that,
everything.
right? It has come on and just blown it out of the water,
Yeah.
right? Because he had the skills that it took. Yep, probably never framed a building, never tied steel in a swimming pool, never ran plumbing, those kind of things. But he brings to the table the skill set that you can learn construction, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't take decades to do,
It's not rocket
right?
science.
One of our good friends says it's not a science rocket, man.
Definitely not a science rocket.
But you can learn how to put these things together with time, right? On
Communication's harder to learn
It
though.
is.
If you're not a good communicator, man, it's hard to change.
Yeah. So I think back on so many projects that I've seen, hundreds over, a couple decades in the industry. If there is one asset that I could pick, somebody on my team, if I had to pick one really good person on my team, it's going to be my super.
Yeah. Which
Because
is crazy because almost everyone in the pool world signs a contract not knowing what they're getting on
that's
the other
exactly
end.
right.
But that's who, like, that really matters.
That's exactly right.
And so I think people do their best. They try and read reviews or talk to, can I talk to some referrals, some people, some other clients you've built for. But yeah, it takes a lot of faith. It goes beyond just the person sitting in front of you. You really have to trust that company that they have good people.
That makes me think of something like I don't know how many reviews are out there that there are definitely there, right? Like people have great experiences about their designer and the person that helped them put this together. But if you go read our reviews, like they might mention that guy in
Yeah.
passing. Man,
Travis was there
Eliza
too.
did such a good job on putting this together. But I'm going to tell you who really shined was this super that came in and communicated or corrected this issue,
Yep.
or at the end of the day, made sure that everything was exactly how we wanted it. I think that really kind of backs up the point that we're making is if you go read our 1,300 reviews, I bet you 1,000 of them only mention the superintendent.
Yep. Because
Right?
that's what you really feel.
Yeah.
Like, you feel that experience, good or bad. Luckily for us, we got great guys, and so a
Yeah.
lot of good experiences.
Yeah. So again, if I'm picking that top-notch guy that's going to be on my team, um, I want it to be a superintendent. I want him to plan. Somebody that knows how to plan, somebody that knows how to execute the plan, and then somebody who can communicate well about it. And to me, those are the three reasons why a superintendent is absolutely critical on any construction project.
Couldn't agree more. Can I add one?
Get after it.
I think the last little ingredient that has to kind of span all of those is they have to care.
Yeah.
It's not like you said, it's not a science rocket building these pools. You can halfway go through your job and do things and check some boxes. But man, when you get someone who cares about the final product, which is there's no like measurable for that. Like there's no like, well, do you care or not? Of course, everyone's going to say they care, but it's the way your superintendent treats your project, treats you, the communication, it you can tell that they care. They want this to go right or they really don't care. That it's just gonna get done one day.
Yeah.
And I feel like it will, like, because I've worked with superintendents who don't care in another job before I was at Denali, and those houses got built too, because I felt like, "You're gonna get fired, dude, like, you're not finishing this stuff," but those jobs did get finished. It was just a bad experience for the customer going through it. And so I think that that care applied to all three of those things you mentioned is what takes it from like, yeah, the project's done, it's fine, to like, whew, I don't know if I would make it, but I had this partner, I had
Yeah.
this person by my side who had my back the whole way, who I knew was gonna do things right and take care of me and see the things I don't see. It really made it so much more bearable because construction's hard. It's messy, it's dirty, it's long, it's a lot, and it's this huge financial investment. And so having that partner, that superintendent that really cares and then does those three things you talked about, like that's what we want at Denali. That's what we'll accept at Denali. Anything short of that, we got to get someone in who can check all those boxes because when you're partnering with us to build your pool, you have to get that service. That's what we're offering.
It's all about that 5-star experience, right?
That's it.
That's what you got to shoot for.
That's it every time.
All right, man. Appreciate you. I feel like I did more of the talking this time, but
I think that's why it was a better episode.
Well, everybody, appreciate you joining us one more time. We have fun doing this. We want to make sure we're bringing you guys content, things that you enjoy hearing. So let us know. Drop a like, subscribe, leave us a comment. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one.